Cataloging and maintaining collections is a key activity at the Archaeological Center. There are over 800 collections maintained in the vaults, and new collections are accessioned on a regular basis. Materials typically arrive at the center with identifying information and must be properly and carefully processed through the collections lab. As an intern or volunteer, you play a major role in supporting the collections technician and manager in accurately cataloging new materials. The scope of this module is on cataloging lithic, bone, and shell materials. When processing artifacts, you will use a standardized cataloging datasheet provided by the center to record relevant information about each item. Feel free to pause this video and briefly review the catalog example or find it on page 20 of your intern handbook. Typically, you will be provided information for an artifact from the cultural resource management firm or the archaeologist who provides the material. The information won't always be available from the outside sources, and the terminology does not always align with the center's standard terms. Here you can see the different fields of the catalog record split into three groupings. Fields 1 through 5 relate to the site from which the artifacts are recovered, and a catalog number for the artifact. Fields 6 through 8 relate to the artifact type. What is it and what is it made of? Fields 9 through 12 are additional information about the artifacts and how and where they are stored. Before we get into fields 6 through 8, we will go through the other fields. Field 1, site number, is the number provided for the physical location of an archaeological dig site. It can be found in the collections report or the admin folder. When you enter the site number in the catalog, you do not need to include California at the beginning, because it is known that the artifacts come from California. Field 2, catalog number, is a unique number for each artifact or group of similar artifacts. The number comes from the CRM firm or the archaeologist. Field 3, recovery type, is the category that defines how the artifact was recovered. For example, surface shot or shovel test pit. The recovery code can be found in the original physical catalog record document or sometimes in the accession agreement within the admin folder. Field 4, unit number, is either a number or letter that is associated with the recovery type and is found in the project report from the CRM or archaeologist. Field 5, level, is the distance below the surface where the artifact was located and is measured in centimeters. Each level value needs to be recorded in ranges such as 0 to 10, 10 to 20, and so on. If an artifact was found at the surface level, it would be recorded as 0-0 centimeters. When information is presented in inches or feet, you will need to convert the value into centimeters. Field 9, quantity, represents the number of objects associated with the particular catalog number. If the number of artifacts is uncountable, then it should be designated as bulk in the object field, and the quantity should be listed as 1. Field 10, weight, refers to the weight of an artifact in grams. Weight needs to be recorded to the nearest tenth of a gram. Field 11, box number, is the number of the box that contains the artifact. Sometimes this is recorded as a letter, such as M for missing, D for discarded or deaccessioned, O for oversize, and N for NAGPRA, which refers to the Native American Graves and Repatriation Act. When you encounter boxes with NAGPRA items, you must contact a staff member and refrain from cataloging the materials. Fields 6 through 8 are among the most challenging to accurately catalog. Material class is used to describe which of the broad categories an artifact belongs to, such as chipstone or unmodified shell. The object name is a description of what the artifact actually is, for example, a fishhook or arrowhead. The material category lists the material type of the object. Examples for this are quartz or small mammal bone. It is important to follow the listing of options for each of these categories as described in Appendix C of your handbook. This table shows some examples of material class, object, and material for stone, bone, and shell artifacts. There are 7 material classes, including 3 for stone, 2 bone, and 1 shell. We will go through one example from each material class to show the proper use of Appendix C catalog terms. Keep in mind that each material class has many valid term options for object and material combinations. This is an example of the chipstone category with chert fashioned into a projectile point. Other chipstone examples include projectile points and scrapers made of other materials such as obsidian or quartzite. Here we see an example of a groundstone material class with granitic rock ground into a donut stone. This is an example of the stone other category for stone lithic, and it shows a fragment of adobe. Looking at the bone modified material class, we see an awl made from a medium-sized mammal. Now we can see the bone unmodified material class, which features a bare tooth and thus is labeled as mammal large with teeth as the object. Here we see the shell unmodified material class with a whole, meaning fully intact, crab shell.